What do you know about deer? They are probably one of the most common animals in the world, at least when it comes to mammals. In fact, there are more than 60 different species of deer all across the planet. So today we will be talking about 10 surprising facts about deer. Also, stick around for no. 3. It's insane. Stay until the end, because the last 2 might really surprise you. Before we get into that, make sure you like this video so you can learn more about deer and other mammals. Number 10. Where they live? As we said, there are many species of deer all across the planet. Deer can be found in many places, as we said before. But did you know that in the wild, deer are mainly nocturnal? This means they are most active during the night. Of course, there are exceptions. We're talking about speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. As we said before, white-tailed deer are hunted by several predators, and these include coyotes, wolves, mountain lions, and bears. For example, they have very good hearing, which allows them to spot predators from far away. We already talked about this before, but now we will tell you something incredible. A pregnant deer can choose what it eats, and this affects its offspring. In other words, the baby deer, if the mother deer eats a diet rich in nutrients, the offspring will be born healthier and stronger. On the contrary, if she eats poor quality food, her children will be weaker. And this is important for the species. If the offspring is born weak, it is more likely to die, and this means fewer descendants. But if the offspring is born healthy, it is more likely to survive and reproduce. Therefore, the quality of the food that a pregnant deer eats directly affects the future of the species. They can also see very well, both during the day and at night, and this also helps them against predators. Now we want to know which facts surprised you the most. Leave your answers in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time. But perhaps their best defense mechanism is camouflage. Depending on the species, deer can have many colors, from white to brown, black, gray, and many others. This allows them to blend in very well with their surroundings, which makes it harder for predators to spot them. And let's not forget their agility. Deer are very agile. They can jump over logs and rocks and cross streams and this is also useful when escaping predators. Of course, this depends on the location. In some places, deer are safe from all of these predators, and in others, they are constantly in danger. But overall, we can say that these are some of the most dangerous predators for deer. But there's one predator that's more dangerous than all of them combined: humans. Unfortunately, humans are the biggest threat to deer. Not only do they hunt deer for sport or food, but they also destroy their habitats. Many species of deer have gone extinct because of humans, and many others are still threatened. In short bursts, they can even reach 60 miles per hour. And this is thanks to their legs. They have 2 toes on each foot, and these are very flexible. Also, their bodies are very agile. Because of all this, they can jump over logs and rocks and cross streams, and this is useful when they are running away from predators, but also when they are running after food. And although their speed is amazing, unfortunately, it doesn't help them in all cases. The white-tailed deer, for example, is hunted by coyotes, wolves, mountain lions, bears, and humans. So being fast isn't always enough to save their lives. And speaking of predators, let's move on to number 3. If there isn't much going on, deer can be seen during the day, but they are most active at night. And this is due to several factors. First of all, during the night, there is less chance of being spotted by predators. Secondly, the temperature drops significantly during the night, so it's better for deer to rest during the hottest hours of the day. Finally, during the night, deer have better visibility. They can see 6 times better than humans at night. This allows them to spot predators from afar and escape, or, on the contrary, to find enough food. In any case, this gives them an advantage over most of their daytime predators. But if you want to see one in its natural habitat, you must go deep into the forest. Deer avoid humans as much as possible. Usually, the male deer is larger than the female, and they have antlers. Yes, only male deer have antlers. Antlers are basically bony structures that grow from their skulls, and they are used to attract mates and, of course, to fight other males. Once a year, the males lose and regrow their antlers, and the females, on the other hand, have smaller bodies. Their shoulders are less wide, and they have no antlers. However, females usually have larger eiders, which allows them to produce more milk for their offspring. In general, we can say that male and female deer are similar, but they have their differences. Of course, even though they might sometimes come close to human settlements in search of food. If there's a choice, they would rather be in the woods. This is because they are prey animals, and throughout history, humans and other predators have hunted them. Therefore, deer are always on the lookout for danger, and of course, there are some exceptions. Some deer species, like the ones living in New Zealand, were introduced by humans and therefore are not afraid of us. But in general, if you want to see a deer, you must go deep into the forest, especially during dawn and dusk, which brings us to number 6. And basically, they live everywhere. There is no continent without any kind of deer. They can be found in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. However, they can also eat bark, buds, flowers, agricultural crops, and even vegetables. Basically, if it's not meat, then deer probably ate it, and of course, some species prefer certain kinds of food over others. For example, the white-tailed deer prefers acorns, while the mule deer is fond of sagebrush. What's interesting is that deer usually travel miles every day in search of food, and because of this, they can consume a lot of plants in a single day. This is why in some places they can cause damage to crops and gardens. Also, deer are very good at digesting cellulose, which is the main component of plants, which makes it easier for them to obtain nutrients. But of course, the species vary depending on the location. The white-tailed deer can be found in the United States, while the chital deer lives in India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. Also, there's the moose, which can be found in northern parts of North America and Eurasia, and these are just some examples. There are many more, but in general, we can say that deer live everywhere. Number 9. How long they live. The lifespan of a deer depends mostly on the species, but also on the environment they live in. If we talk about the white-tailed deer, for example, these usually live from 2 to 3 years in the wild, but some have been known to reach 10 or even 12 years old. However, in captivity, their life expectancy is way longer, 20 to 25 years. That's the case of most mammals. If they don't have natural predators, and if they are well taken care of, they tend to live much longer. But some larger species of deer, like the moose, have a shorter lifespan. These usually live up to 15 years at most. Number 8. What they eat? Deer are herbivores, which means they only eat plants, and their diet mostly consists of leaves, nuts, and fruits. Number 7. When we find them. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean the time of the day or year, but rather the geographical location. Number 6. Nocturnal or diurnal. We've all seen deer during the day, at least in zoos. Number 5. Characteristics. Male and female deer are very similar, but there are some differences. Let's start with the males first. Number 4. Their speed. When threatened, deer can be very fast. Number 3. Their predators. Number 2. Their defense mechanisms. When threatened, deer will try to run away first. However, they also have some other defense mechanisms. Number 1. What they eat. And that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If so, make sure you like this video.